At Stibo Systems, we help companies gain trust in their data. I've been thinking so much, right, about how AI in general changes the way we work. Defining how do you get to trustworthy data is what we do in a way that you optimize the process and you make sure that the trust is always there. Which company do you want to do business with? This one or this one? It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot.
Hello, Martians. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing on Mars. Today, we have a guest all the way from Sao Paulo to Madrid. His name is Gustavo Amorim. He is currently the CMO of a company called Stibo Systems, where he's leading global marketing efforts and empowering businesses through data. He previously worked at major corporations like Oracle, SAP, and AT&T. Gustavo, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Simon. It's great to be here. Yeah, let's have some fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we were just talking briefly off camera. So are you typically a spicy eater, or you typically avoid the spice? Like, what's your
definitely
style?
don't avoid it. I can take it, but not a lot. Let's see how far I can go here today.
Have you ever taken a shot of hot sauce before?
Not a shot. No, this is gonna be a first for me. I know you've done this so many times already, so I'll take any tips you have.
Yeah, I believe this is episode 117. So I've done a few, but every single time we always find some new way to spice things up. So I've already looked through your profile and everything. I think I know where we're going to take this conversation, but before we do anything, why don't we start off with a shot of hot sauce? Do you have anything?
Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Yeah.
All right, you got that. Is that the Tabasco or?
It is a Tabasco, a classical one. I'll start with that one. And one of the things I learned from watching some of your previous episodes is have a spoon with you. So I'm doing that.
You've learned.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start light as well. I'll start with the umami reserve.
Cool.
Actually, no, that's not light at all. That's actually one of the spicier ones. Okay, I'm going to start with the umami everyday sauce. It's one of our sponsors.
Awesome.
So I'll pour a little. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Doing a shot is quite an experience. That's what I will say for now.
Awesome. Okay, so I mean, first of all, let's dive into, like, we've done a little bit of kind of digging into the company. So obviously, Stibo Systems is a global leader in data management, and apparently, you guys are empowering over 4,500 companies across 60 plus countries. So maybe before we start with anything, maybe give us like a quick little intro of what we can expect, like what exactly does Stibo Systems do and the business model and everything.
Yeah, sure. So at Stibo Systems, we help companies gain trust in their data. So needing to trust your data is step one for any business process. And most lately, any AI initiatives, also, it always starts with, can I trust my data? Do I have the right data? Otherwise, your AI projects don't go anywhere, right? Because you put in data you can trust and you get outputs you also cannot trust. So it's very logical, right? And it sounds very simple, but defining how do you get to trustworthy data is what we do, right? So we help big enterprises across the globe to define the governance, the way they're going to manage sourcing data into their companies and organizations, managing internally, and then distributing internally or externally in a way that you optimize the process and you make sure that the trust is always there. So that's what we do. And we've been doing this. The company has been doing this for over 40 years. The business model, to your question, we are 100% a SaaS, software as a service organization. So everything is subscription based. We went through the process of transitioning our customers from on-prem environments to a cloud environment. So it's a typical journey of a software company, like so many others out there, and we've been pretty successful in supporting our customers and helping them through that journey.
So we want to get to know you on a personal level as well. But before we switch off, one last question. Security is on top of mind for everybody. And when data goes from on-premises to cloud, there's always that fear of data security. What are you guys doing to mitigate that? And are you guys using any kind of new tech and that kind of new generation AI tools to help you guys with that?
Yeah,
that is a huge.
It's a great question. The fear has been diminishing, right, with time, and as organizations across the globe have adopted cloud solutions in many different parts of their business processes, we see that the fear is diminishing. Our partner for any cloud implementations and environment is Microsoft. So we work with Microsoft Azure, which is best in class in their security standards. So our customers, they benefit from all the Microsoft technology and the Microsoft security protocols, which also gives us the safety so that we can sleep at night, because the last thing you need is a customer calling you saying, hey, we have a data breach. That never happened to us, right? So which is a really, really good indication as well that the security patterns work the way they're supposed to. So, but you're absolutely right. It's always a concern. What we have been seeing more and more in the past year or so is where the data lives, right? So companies have been a lot more focused on understanding geographically, where's the data center? Where's my data residing, right? Which in previous years, the main thing was show me all the security protocols and how are you going to keep my data secure? Now that remains, but now there's another topic, which is show me where my data will actually physically reside, where are the servers, right? Which is interesting. Which is a kind of a new thing that we're seeing.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm also Microsoft Azure, so virtual high five on that. All right, personal question. Our team did a little bit of digging, and this we might get into a little bit of a hot sauce situation as well. But we got to do this. So we're diving into your background, and from a personal perspective, you have a couple of kids, and you have a passion for baking pizzas. Apparently, is one of the things that you're really into. How do you balance family life with the demands of being a global CMO? My understanding is that Stibo Systems has over 800 employees, large company. So how do you balance, being a high performing executive and then also family life and demands there?
Yeah. So it's always, I'm not going to say tricky, but number one, you got to set your priorities right straight. So, for example, I almost never work on weekends. Right? My personal time is my personal time. We have a culture at Stibo Systems which really respects that. Our CMO, my boss, is very, very mindful and respectful of that. Stibo Systems is a European company and from Denmark. So Denmark is probably well known for how respectful they are to other people, to the environment, to everything in general, right? So I think that reflects in the company culture, which helps to create that kind of a balance, and then comes the personal prioritization of whenever I am traveling, which I do travel quite a lot, and I'm dedicated to focused on work. I'm 120% there. And then when it's my weekend time, my leisure time, in balancing, also the other thing I do is I'm 100% remote, and we have a culture that is very, very remote driven, which means I manage my time, right? So if I know, for example, that I have a call maybe later in the day, later in the evening, I'll start my day a little later as well, right? And then I'll balance that. It's all about having the flexibility to balance that. And I try to exercise that as much as I can.
Do you use any new tools, or there are so many AI tools popping up every single day? Do you use any of those new generation tools to manage your time, or how are you currently?
Not for managing time. So I've been using Copilot more and more for managing calendar, emails, to-do lists, and those kind of things. But not necessarily
amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
so good.
Not necessarily for determining, right, what the split between personal and non-personal time should be, because those things, and the other thing is, when a lot of times when you're doing work related things, they and my daughters are getting older, right? So that they had different interests.
How old are your daughters?
So my oldest is now 19. She turned 19 last week, and my little one is 15. So they're not little anymore, and which kind of gives me an opportunity sometimes with my oldest to talk about work. She's interested. She's actually studying international management, so she comes up with questions about, hey, so what do you do? What is exactly marketing in a B2B environment and this kind of thing? And so it's quite fun.
Wow. Speaking of which, you, in a recent Forbes article, introduced the concept of agentic marketing.
Yep.
Your daughter is going to grow up in a world of agentic fill in the blank.
Everything.
Yeah. How do you prepare your daughter? Question number one, because you care about them obviously in their future. And then number two, how far are we from truly agentic fill in the blank, whatever you want to call it? Like, how far are we?
Love that question. So I've been thinking so much, right, about how AI in general changes the way we work, and particularly for the new generations. When I think about my daughters, and I had many different phases in going through this, right, with my reflections. I went through the phase of, oh, this is so cool, and we gotta play with it. Now I'm in the phase. Then I went through the phase of, oh my God, this thing is gonna absolutely kill the entry level jobs, right?
Replace everything.
And even in my role, I went through the exercise of saying, if I need to hire a new entry level person in my team, what task would I give to this person that AI cannot do? Right. And I ask myself those kind of questions.
So that's a good question.
And then when I talk to my daughter, I say, here's the thing. Number one, you need to find, which is the same thing I work with my team, right? Find the use cases. So if you're going to do a interview or a job interview or anything like that, play with the AI tools to help you achieve the outcome that you're looking for, which in this case is you want to prepare for this interview, right? So take your CV, your resume, your LinkedIn profile, take the job posting, throw those two things into the tool, and what are the questions they might ask me based on this job profile and this, how do I prepare? So use AI, and that will lead me to the second part of your question. Use AI for the reasoning capabilities of AI. Let it reason for you so that you can get ahead of the game, right? And prepare it that way. That's my number one advice to my daughter, in saying that's how you should be thinking of it. And to the second part of your question, how far are we to getting fully agentic and agentic whatever, right? That means. I think we are closer than we think or believe we are, right? And the reason for that is, as I talk about the phases, it is so amazing. It's so interesting. I think we all went through the phase of, I have a use case in marketing. I want to use AI. I need to go into ChatGPT or Copilot or Claude, whatever.
Quad,
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
And I need to build my own assistant or agent. That was phase one. Everybody jumped on it and said, oh, I created this super cool thing and I can now do this thing, right? Which is competitive intelligence, the definition of personas, create positioning for my product, value prop, doesn't matter. All of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Then all the traditional marketing vendors and the tools that we all use, be it a CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce, all these guys are now starting to release functionality on AI that does all those things that initially everybody thought, I need to create it because it can do it, but it's not out there. So I need to go and create my own agents or assistants. And now all those vendors are coming out with data capabilities, which from an enterprise perspective is a lot easier to adopt, right? Because you already had your environment set up with those certain tools, and which is data protected, secure, governed, etc., etc. So, but they're not talking to each other yet. And that's why they're not agentic, right? The minute that those things in the process, in the workflow, they start talking to each other, that's the minute that everything will become agentic. And I think we're very close to that because it's moving so fast and progressing so quickly that we will be seeing, I think, end-to-end processes. Probably next year, we're going to have a couple coming out already. So I think we're very close.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'm sure we're going to dive into all of this later on when we talk about marketing and all that. But let's dive into we have a quick little segment called This or That. Basically, we're going to give you two options and you got to choose between the two options. Right. Quite simple. And if you can't answer, then we're going to have to taste the hot sauce.
All right. I'll be brave.
All right.
Take my risk.
We got to be brave. We got to be brave here. Okay. First question. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or be able to speak every language in the world?
I will go with every language in the world. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Would you rather be famous for your laugh or your dance moves? I heard that you also got some dance moves.
My dance moves for sure, because then I can make a fool of myself. Definitely.
Exactly. All right. Live without bossa nova or without acai?
Without bossa nova. Yeah. I love acai. Love it.
Acai is very good.
And bossa nova is, I appreciate the beauty of it.
Yeah.
But it's not my thing. Not my thing.
Yeah. Acai is the power of fruit as well. So, you got a lot of benefits from it. Last two. Would you rather your life be a musical or a reality TV show?
A musical. Reality TV shows are boring. I'm kind of, I had enough of those, honestly. I think I can't take any more of that. A musical.
Yeah, I know what
can be magic, but.
Yeah. All right. Who's your least favorite CEO that you've worked with? Adrian Carr from Stibo or Safra Katz from Oracle?
You gotta love your CEOs all the time, right? They're very different. Very different.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take a hot sauce. I have a hot sauce here I want to try. So yeah, I'll take a hot sauce.
That's the reason why. It's not because you don't want to answer the question.
It's the only
you
reason.
Just want
to because I want to try this thing.
You just want to try that. Yeah. And I'll do it with you. I'll do that with you. All right. I got this green. It's called the taco. This one is delicious.
Okay.
This one's our favorite one on the show so far.
So mine is a guava.
Guava. Oh, that sounds delicious. That might be delicious.
Should be good.
All right. Cheers.
It's pretty
That
hot.
is spicy.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah, this is spicy. That
Like
was
the
spicy too?
taste, but let me see. I was okay. Two out of 3 peppers, so it's supposed to be pretty.
Yeah, this one gets. Do you ever come to North America often, or are you
I
usually
do,
in?
I do. Yeah, it's obviously our biggest market. So I'm in North America every month or 45 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you always go to one city, or are you always bouncing around different cities?
So we have our major presence in North America. Our hub is in Atlanta, so I go to Atlanta quite often. But then we had a sales kickoff back in May in Chicago. And
Okay.
back last October, we did our customer event back in Orlando. So we kind of travel and be around quite a lot.
So we've interviewed probably 3 or 4 CMOs based in Atlanta, and I've been always wanting to go to Atlanta to host just like a little tiny hangout just with the past guests and our friends. When you're going next time, let me know. I was actually planning to go probably in September.
Love that.
I don't know when.
Yeah,
we'll connect.
That or we do the other way around. You tell me when you're gonna do this, and then that becomes my excuse to go and be in Atlanta with the team over there and the customers. Yeah.
You know what? Our last episode was with Maria Garibo from Deezer, and she invested, a substantial amount in a retreat in Spain, and we might be doing something in Spain with a few CMO guests from past guests.
It seems that all paths bring us together.
All paths brings us to hot sauce. So what's gonna happen if you meet me in person? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about work. So you mentioned you're leading the rebrand at Stibo, revamping the company's go-to-market strategy. What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you when trying to unify the brand, especially a 800 plus person organization? How do you get everyone on board and walking down the same path?
Yeah. So that is a absolutely must, right? In terms of aligning yourself to the culture, which, as I talked about previously, it's a super mindful culture from all points of view, even from a go-to-market perspective, right? So we are extremely, and we were before I joined, very conservative, I would say, in the way that we go to market, in the way that we communicate, in the way that we talk about our successes. People used to say that we were extremely humble, and we still are.
Maybe too humble.
But I started saying, guys, we're doing great stuff and nobody knows. We got to get out there, right? And we got to start shouting. So the repositioning of all that, and that's part of it, right? You use the term rebranding, and it's quite interesting because I never use that term internally, right? On purpose. No. Because I don't want people to feel this is a marketing thing. It's not a marketing thing, right? This is a company-wide. We are repositioning the company in how do we go about talking about ourselves, talking about the value we create, and how we help the largest organizations on earth be successful in doing what we offer, right? So that is a big part of it, which is getting the 800 employees to understand that it's okay for us to beat our chest more, be more proud, more vocal, more out there. And it goes from so many angles, right? I'll give you one example. I remember the very first week after I joined, we had a sales kickoff. And it was a new sales leader in North America who was also joining at the same time I did. And we were both in a session, which was a sales enablement education session. And then this thing came up and he looked at me and he said, we don't have a YouTube channel or a YouTube presence? And I was like, well, actually, there is a channel. but you don't even want to go there, right? Because it's from the last century, right?
Ancient video.
So we started saying, all right, video is part of our strategy, and we're going to start doing this properly, and we're going to start increasing our share of video, as we call it, to be visible and be relevant. And we started building all those things. And then obviously, right, and I'm not finding out anything new. It's just doing the basics. So a lot of it, as part of this repositioning, has been showing to the company that we have so many tools that we're not using. And if we use them properly, and things like our annual report, financial annual report, we're not a public company, but we publish an annual report every year based on the law in Denmark. We have to, right? So when I joined, when I first saw the annual report, I was like, do you guys share this with anyone? Because I wouldn't. It's kind of embarrassing. And then we looked into how do we bring this to being professional, right? And the way that I position this with the company is I put both things side by side, visually, side by side, in a slide, or if we are in a physical room in a meeting, I have both here in my hand, and I say, which company do you want to do business with? This one or this one?
Wow. Had it physically in your hand to make a point.
Yeah.
Incredible. How large is the leadership team at Stibo?
So our leadership team has one thing that I find absolutely amazing. We are 7 people in total. And we have, as I mentioned a couple of times, we are a Danish company. Only 2 of our leaders are in our headquarters in Denmark. Everybody else is spread. Our CEO is in London. Our chief sales head is in the US. Our chief product is in the US. I'm in Spain. Our chief HR is also in the US. Our chief delivery is in Ireland. So we are all over the place.
Spread out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is absolutely, I think, amazing and fantastic about the company and the way we operate.
And is that just to mirror the clientele, that your clients are just spread out all around the world, so you want executives to also understand different parts of the world? Or is that more telling of where you guys want to expand into, that you guys want to focus more on international markets, like, or not just by chance?
No, it's both. It's actually both. Both things you mentioned. So it does represent, right, where we want to grow faster and further. So North America is our main growth market, right? So being an European company, our history started in Europe. Today, North America is already our biggest market, but we wanted to grow even faster than the rest of the world, right? So that's why we have sales and product in North America, as an example. And then being so spread out and so international in a way is to reflect the strategy of this is a global company and we do business all over the place and we have leadership all over the place as well.
Awesome. And we were talking a little bit earlier and even off air about the company's investment in AI innovation. What are you guys working on? What are the biggest challenges that you guys are trying to work on today? Because there's already old technology and maybe you guys are already implementing a bunch of that. Is there any new challenges that you guys are trying to solve maybe in the next 2-3 years? And what is that?
It's a company or specifically to the marketing function?
Whichever direction you want to take it.
Okay. So I think...
Or whichever one you want to find the most interesting.
Yeah. So I think for your audience, maybe the marketing angle will be most interesting. So the way we're looking into AI from a marketing angle is use case outcomes. So what are the use cases that we want to apply AI? based on our needs and the things we're trying to achieve. And then what is the outcome, right? We need to be able to, and it's just not about the ability to measure. That's important, but it's more about the reason why. Why are we doing this, right? Because the other thing I always mention to the team is doing AI for the sake of doing AI or applying AI because it's cool or because someone is asking is not a good enough reason. So you need a business reason. And that is called an outcome and something you're trying to achieve. So either you want to be faster in doing something, or you want to do more of something, or you want to be more creative. There is an outcome that you're looking to drive, and that needs to drive, again, the decisions on where you prioritize. And
So what is that for you guys? What's that main outcome that you guys are
so
looking
there's a
for
couple
right
of things. We're looking into every single part of marketing has what we call an AI adoption plan, right? So
now?
what we identify and the way we are approaching this is teammates. So how do you develop AI as a teammate to you as an individual, right? And as a person. So I have my AI teammates as a CMO. I'll give you an example. One that I was playing
Please.
with. Yeah, I'll give you an
Please.
example. One that I was playing with yesterday and today. I have a interviewer teammate for me that helps me in the interviews that I run for hiring people in the team. So I'm in the middle of a hiring process now, and I built a little assistant in Copilot that helps me through the interview process, and that's part of the work that I would usually do. For example, what questions should I ask? Very simplistically, I take somebody's resume and I take the job description for the role, upload it into Copilot and say, what questions should I be asking this person based on the job description? Then I also say, please tell me what's the fit of this individual based on this role for this position and given the person's experience. And then I can get to the point that I also say, now compare candidates. Tell me strengths and areas that I should focus on my conversations with them. So I get to these interviews way more prepared than I used to, right? So the outcome is I'll be able to run much more effective interviews based on the help from my AI teammate on that one. Right. And then
And is that based off of past recordings that you, based off of your Zoom and Google Meet recordings of yourself plus that teammate? Or what is it based off of? Is it just basically strict off of tell me where's the data coming from?
So the data for that comes from, number one, job descriptions. So we know what we are looking for. Number two, the profile of the person, purely either a resume or from previous interviews, right? Because when it comes to me, usually somebody has already spoken to this individual, right? Either HR or one of my leaders in my team. So there is already a little bit of a profiler. So those things are inputs. And then what you just said, and the reason why I'm running the interviews for this current process, and I'm transcribing the interviews so that I will feed the transcriptions back to Copilot to say, based on the conversations also that we had, does that change your previous assessment? I haven't done that yet because I haven't finished the process, but that will be interesting. And then I'll also do my personal assessment in terms, this is my preferred candidate. And now let's see what AI will tell me, who should I hire and compare.
So the reason why I'm asking is I recently, and a few of my team members as well, we've been recently testing out this new tool where we use it across all of our meetings, Google Meets, Zooms, etc. We also use it for in-person meetings when we meet in person for team offsites and everything. And it takes into account how I talk, how another person will talk, teammate number one will talk, sometimes even our clients, how we talk. And it basically creates like a clone of me, a clone of everyone else that we talk to. And then we can ask it questions like, is Simon being the most effective leader to teammate one? How can Simon interact with teammate one to be a better leader, a better listener? They go, based on your previous transactions, I feel like you give a lot of critical feedback, but not a lot of positive reinforcement.
Awesome.
So maybe try to say more positive things. And like it really gets into how you guys talk on a day-to-day, and it's almost becomes like your personal therapist, personal mentor, and just like a little bird on the side of your ear telling you how to become a better person.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Or whatever you want, like better salesperson, better husband, better friend, better fill in the blank. So yeah, I think this AI clone idea in the future is going to be a huge thing.
Yeah.
But kind of worrisome, which is why I asked you about privacy in the beginning.
Yeah, it is. It is worrisome, but and the privacy conversation always starts with asking the question: is it okay? Right? If you're engaging with somebody else, is it okay for me to do this, use it this way? Right? And the person gives consent, then you're good to go from a personal perspective, right? And you're not. The other thing is, which is also a lot to do with what we do as a company, PII, right? Personal identification information, if you're using that or not as you're doing those things, right? And avoiding using any of that, because that's when you run into potential risks and challenges. So, but you're right. And we are learning, right? We are testing, learning, seeing what works, what doesn't, what creates value, what doesn't, what is a waste of time. I've wasted time. The other day, not the other day, this is a few months back, I tried to come up with something on Copilot, which I felt was so basic.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make it work. Right? Couldn't make it work. And it drove me crazy.
Hard.
It's like,
it's hard building these things.
Such a waste of time. I'm like, come on, just do what I'm telling you to do. But that's the way I think we get to making it functional.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna switch over to another rapid fire round. And then we'll go back to company because we were talking about company a little bit and we kind of jumped away from it. So I'll give you 5 questions. Quick questions, quick answers.
Okay.
All right. First one, what's the most random thing in your office right now?
I don't know. Oh, maybe this little giraffe thing that I brought with me from South Africa when I went there. So, yeah, maybe this.
that is,
yeah,
that is quite random. I'll give you that one. You definitely got random points for that. I like this one. If you could only listen to one song forever, what song would it be?
Wow.
One song forever. You can't listen to any other song. Your brain is only wired to listen to this one song.
I will go with Hotel California from
Hotel California.
Yeah, that one. Yep.
Yeah, nice. Okay. If your life was a movie, what genre would it be? No, not what movie, what genre?
A comedy, for sure.
Okay. Have you watched Happy Gilmore? Are you into golf?
I'm not into golf, no.
Oh, okay. It's a new one by Adam Sandler.
I look for it.
If you could instantly master one skill today, what would it be? You say it and you'll master it right away.
Playing a musical instrument.
Any specific one?
Yes. And I'll tell you why, even though you just asked for very straight answers. So the ukulele. And the reason for that is during the pandemic, stuck at home for a long time. It felt like this is a perfect time to learn how to play a musical instrument. And I happened to have a ukulele at home based on one of those corporate exercises that you do. And they gave us a ukulele as a team building thing. So I had it at home. I was like, that's it. I'm going to learn how to play this. No way. Couldn't do it. And I went through, the typical YouTube video classes for something. And they go through, hey, day 1, day 2, day 3, and by now you should be playing at this level. And I was still stuck at day 2 when I should be probably at day 10. It's like giving this up.
Oh my
Not for me. I
God.
can do it.
Really?
Yeah.
What was so difficult about it? Like, why was it?
I don't know. My
What do you
brain
think?
is too slow. I think I can coordinate both hands and then think about singing at the same time. I'm too slow for that. I guess couldn't do it.
Oh my goodness. Did you guys do a lot of karaoke at home
We
when
did
you guys were stuck
some. We
together?
did some. We did a lot of playing games and board games, especially. That was a big thing. But yeah, but playing. But the pizza thing came from the pandemic as well, baking pizzas.
Yeah.
And that one I did learn. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Last question. If you get through this, I will do a hot sauce shot by myself. Um, so over the last 2 and something years, you worked with a lot of different clients and a lot of partners at Stibo. Who has been the most difficult partner that you had to deal with, or client that you had to deal with?
Oh, there hasn't been that many, I have to say, but they're always right. There's always
There's always that one.
which takes us to the hot sauce. Let's do that. Let's go back to that. Yes. We gotta love the partners and the customers always.
Always, they're always our best friends.
Yeah. So I'll go back to.
All right. I'm leveling up. Also, you're going back to Tabasco.
I am.
I'm gonna level up to the Nash Soul.
Okay.
This one's a little more spicy. Okay. So pour quite a bit. Cheers. Oh my God.
Now we gotta keep having a conversation with our burning throat.
Ooh. Yeah, that
Awesome.
poured a little too much there.
I'm gonna start doing this in my team calls. My people are gonna love me even more.
Yeah. Oh my God, Gustavo, you didn't meet your deadline this week. Shot hot sauce.
There we go.
All right. Okay. Going back to the company a little bit. Let's talk about marketing, right? So you obviously you're leading the crew when it comes to marketing. You probably know everything on where you guys spend, how much money, and everything, and all that. So let's start at a high level. Your marketing stack right now and all the channels. Give us a little insight onto where you spend your money right now. Which channels are the most effective?
Yeah.
For you?
So we are a B2B marketing function, right? So that is always a good starting point because that conditions a lot of the type of marketing that we do, and which means we spend between events and then digital media. We spend about 65 to 70% of the total budget in those two things, right? And
Wow.
digital media is very, very targeted. So when we run things like LinkedIn in social, we don't spend a single dollar in Instagram or Facebook or any of those more kind of B2C or even B2B, but for small businesses, right? We are enterprise focused, so we don't play that, right? And then we do something that is called content syndication. So we play a big part of our marketing is based on content consumption and making sure that we are positioning ourselves in delivering not only the thought leadership in the areas that we cover, but also making sure that we deliver customer stories, which is very powerful from a content consumption perspective, and then the details of our products and technologies and all that. So content syndication, placing our content on platforms where people search for and look for insights is also a good way of acquiring leads.
Where are the main distribution channels on the content syndication side?
Yeah, you use platforms like TechTarget, which is a very technology oriented, right, and very also software oriented, which is what we do. And then working also with the influencers in this area. As you know, the big analysts, right? The big analyst firms like Gartner or Forrester, they're very influential, right, in the enterprise technology space. So building content with these guys and doing co-branded things with them is also something that we also look to do, and building the credibility alongside their insights as well, right? So it's and I keep repeating the word insights. It's a lot about what's the value that we drive and deliver in the marketing that we do. It's not a hard sale, right? If you try to do a hard sale from an enterprise perspective, it doesn't resonate, right?
So in your perspective, the content syndication, would that be considered top of funnel, or would that be middle of funnel because they already know of you?
For us, it's top of funnel, right? Because
that's top of funnel.
Yeah. Okay. And the reason for that is we are not a Microsoft or a Salesforce that has a super consolidated, well-known brand, right? So the top of funnel of getting our name out there and by offering high-value content helps to drive top of funnel engagement and interest, because people won't necessarily, when they say, hey, there's this thing from Stibo Systems, I don't know who these guys are, right? I don't necessarily know who they are, right? So getting at that top of funnel level for us is a high value content play, right? And content syndication helps a lot. And then the key then becomes when that enters the funnel, how do you nurture? How do you keep it warm? How do you move it to the next phase? How do you keep it? Because it's all based on conversions and how do you go from one stage to the next?
Yeah, exactly. And what does that look like after that? Is a lot of your middle funnel is just through advertising, like traditional media?
So there's some retargeting, yes, right? That we'll do retargeting through LinkedIn and a couple other platforms. We work with Demandbase, which is a advertising platform for very targeted B2B, right? And so we use some of that as well for target account lists. So it's very targeted and driving the engagement, driving the funnel and expanding. That's the other thing, right? Expanding the reach from a buying group perspective, because whether we like it or not, software buying is becoming more and more of a group exercise and a team exercise.
Totally.
And you got to influence and you got to connect with many parts of your customer functions and expanding that and having a business value for the business side and the business functions, and then having a technology also perspective for the IT side is the complexity on enterprise sales, right? And marketing, but marketing and sales is a B2B is a
interconnected.
It's super interconnected. It's one flow.
Yeah. And plus, at the end of the day, like, I love what you said. Yeah, I mean, whether we like it or not, at the end of the day, it's a human making another decision on behalf of a business, but is always a human. And as AI is more and more interconnected with our lives, we want to connect with each other even more, whether that's through business or through community or through just whatever. It's the people that matter. So
it's always the people.
Going full circle back to what you're saying, what can AI not replace? I think that might be the one thing that AI will never be able to replace is that human to human interaction that we have with each other.
I agree with you. It will never replace, and probably will even increase our need and requirements for that kind of interaction.
Yeah. Actually, on that note, you did mention that events is part of that bucket of 65 to 75%. It's probably a substantial portion of your guys' budget. Are you guys seeing that increase? Events taking up more and more of the budget or cutting back? Because there seems to be so many communities coming up. Everyone is, I don't know what the talk to us about events community and the in-person interaction in what you're seeing in Denmark. Well, you're in Spain, I guess. right?
Yeah, I'm in Spain, but I'll give you my answer.
But yeah,
Will
yeah, give
always
us a
be global, right? And always with a big caveat on North America, right? Because as I said, it is our biggest market. So you mentioned and you touched upon so many powerful concepts, right? Starting with events. Events is a platform for engagement. So there's majority of salespeople in B2B, when you ask them a very simple question, where do you think marketing should be investing their money? They're going to give the answer, more events. Give me more events, right?
or events.
Why? Because events is an opportunity for a salesperson to be face-to-face with a potential buyer, right?
And
Others will say, no, more events is not the answer. Build the digital engagement and build the platforms for that, the funnel, as you were talking about, right? And then do things properly to qualify the funnel. And then I will engage at a very later stage, right? As a salesperson. And then you talked about the other concept, powerful concept was community building, right? So we had the practice of community marketing, both virtual. So we have a virtual community for our customers to get together, to collaborate, to engage, to talk to us, and to talk to them, most importantly.
Talk to each other.
Talk to each other,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Most importantly. We also run what we call user group meetings, which are physical events that people get together in different countries and different locations. So we have a user group in Germany, we have a user group in France, and we have a user group in Japan, and we have a user group in Brazil, and we have it, etc. When in smaller settings, and the cool thing about the user groups is they're always hosted by one of our customers. So you imagine you have, and I'm going to mention one name, imagine you have McDonald's hosting other customers and hosting that user group meeting. And that's what makes it unique. And that's what makes the engagement, physical engagement, face-to-face, very unique, right? So I think it's not one against the other. It's not either you do events or you do virtual communities and virtual events. It's an end, right? But as a CMO, one of my challenges, being completely honest and transparent here among us friends, there's always a reason to do the next event and to invest in the next event. So you got to be mindful and careful not to fall into that easy answer, right? Which is, we got to build more pipeline. We got to deliver more leads. We got to do this. Easy answer.
That's the easy answer.
Throw another event in it, right?
Yeah.
It might not be the best, most effective ROI answer to it, right? So that's the
right. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about. Like when it comes to events and community, you want to think about what frequency is the most optimal for your users. If your community, if your clients and users, they meet every single week, well, that will kill the power of the community. Whereas if they meet once a quarter, like what's the frequency? What's the ideal frequency? And I've run into this issue many, many times. And so that's one thing. And then how engaged are they? Do clients return? Do 40% of your customers return every single event over event? Is that number declining, increasing? I think there's a lot of things you have to think about, and not just let's throw money into events because that's the highest ROI, right? That's the easy answer, but there's a lot more other things that we have to think about.
And the other thing you got to think about is reach, right? So depending on how big your customer base is, and as you said,
that's as well.
At Stibo Systems, we have a little over 500 customers. So it's not a massive, huge amount of customers. It's very manageable, right? And the minute that you start splitting that by country, it becomes even more manageable, right? And then if you are simply looking for reach, go virtual communities. And I'll give you a stat, right? We currently have 78% of those 500 plus customers active and registered in our virtual community. 78.
Wow.
Which is a pretty huge number.
Really, that's huge.
That's huge. And when we run the physical local group gatherings, we get 15, 20 people, right? Because it is supposed to be much more intimate. And then you don't have a lot of reach, but you go deep and it becomes intimate.
Plus your clients are probably scattered all over the place, right? So
exactly.
Not everyone is based in Germany or everyone's based in Japan. So
exactly.
Virtual, anyone can join. That's so cool.
Yeah.
How are they, and I know Noe's probably pinging me because I know we have a few minutes left, but how are the virtual meetings usually run? Like, what's the structure of that? Yeah. So let's say we get into the call. Like, what happens?
Yeah. So it for the user groups, usually we do a little intro from us, right? So we talk about a topic. We have a predefined topic. Let's say it's data quality or data governance, or how do you use AI to increase your data quality needs. So we do a little bit of a intro and say, hey, this is what we see as best practices. This is what we see as the outcomes and the benefits. And then we open the floor, right? And then it becomes a conversation around what are the challenges, what are the things you've done that are working, what are the things you've done that are not working. And then one customer kind of helps the other customer figure out the answer, which is, I don't get into those meetings as frequently as I should, right, to be honest. But when I do, I just love the dynamics. And most of the times when I do, I even tell the team and the people, don't say I'm in the call. Don't say the CMO is in the call. Let's just pretend I'm not here, right? Because it helps, I think, also the conversation to flow.
How large are those groups?
So those calls, we usually have about 200 people joining, right?
200 people.
Yeah.
And it's moderated so that the moderator chooses one person, that person turns on the mic, and then someone else will put their hand up if they have a response to that person, kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Otherwise, if everyone's mics are on, probably will get a little crazy. All right. Noe wanted me to ask this question because we looked a little bit. We talked a little bit about. You mentioned earlier that you guys publish an annual report every single year. Private company. We were trying to figure out the revenues of your company. How large is Stibo Systems in terms of revenue today?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what. I'll do a deal with you, which is
let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
We've never had this on the show before. No way. Let's take it.
And here's the deal. I'll answer the question because I don't have a problem in answering it, but we will also have a hot sauce because I want to do the guava thing again before we finish. So
okay.
Does that sound like a deal?
This is very new. That's a great deal, and Noe's dying laughing because we've never had this happen before. So this is the first time.
Cool. So yeah, so we are a $190 million USD annual revenue company.
Okay.
And as I said, this is public information. I'm not. The good thing is most people don't find it because we publish in Denmark, so no one knows.
Yeah.
Right? But it's kind of public information. And we've been growing just also, you didn't ask that, but we've been growing somewhere close to 15% year over year on an annual basis.
Year.
So it's been a good journey. It's been a good journey. And
so
and with that,
so the last couple of years has been good. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna go back to the spicy one.
Okay.
Because this one is just so much fun. It just punches you.
Yeah, and I'm going back to the guava wine.
Yeah, this one's fun. I'm gonna pour a little more this time.
Okay,
because I want to feel something.
So you know,
I'm gonna feel something.
this morning. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but I'm gonna do something weird here. I'm gonna do a mix.
Oh, you're gonna mix the two?
Is that allowed? Is that okay?
It's fine. Yeah, no, I love this.
Let's see what happens.
We're seeing so many new things.
Let's see what happens.
All right. All right. Cheers.
That's quite interesting. Wow. I don't know if I would do that again, but But it was interesting.
By the way, we haven't done this a lot. We've done this maybe 2 or 3 times, but we have tried alcohol on the show once.
Okay.
Are you a fan of alcohol?
So I'm a big wine guy. I love wine, right? And being in Spain, Spain has absolutely amazing wine.
Oh, yes.
So I would be more than happy to do a wine related.
Red wine or white wine?
More
Or
of
any other
more
kind
of
of
a
wine?
red guy. But I can do whites as well, or sparkling. I'm up to anything white related, wine related.
What's the best wine you tasted in the last year, and how expensive was that bottle?
So, interesting enough, quick story. I do this thing with friends, which is a blind tasting, right, for wine. And what we do is we usually say, there's a few bottles that we're going to taste, very cheap, meaning less than 10 euros a bottle, which is cheap wine, right?
That's super cheap.
Super cheap. And then we have the other side, which is we're going to have some more decent wine, which is over 30, 35 euros, which in Spain you can get very decent wine for.
Really?
Yes. I know that's not the case in the US or
that's like the starting point for us.
Yeah. And just to demonstrate how little we know, and I know personally about wine.
So what?
Every time we do this, the best rated wine is also one of the cheap wines. Right? It's always that. So, to your question, I had a couple of weeks ago, I had a wine from a region called Ribera del Duero here in Spain, which Rioja is the most famous one in Spain, but I'm more of a fan of Ribera del Duero, which I like best. And if it's a wine that goes for around 60 euros, which in Spain is a kind of
is that considered
that's
considered expensive?
Yeah, it's considered expensive. Right? If you go to a wine shop or even a regular supermarket and you go for a 60-euro bottle, they are already in a separate area because it's a good bottle, right? By definition.
No way.
So yeah, wine here is very inexpensive, very accessible. So
wow. Okay.
And I don't want to keep going about wine because I can keep talking.
Oh, I no. Well, we're gonna do round 2. And the round 2 is going to be with wine.
I would love to.
And we might be doing a retreat. We'll have to tell you in another time, but I might be doing, what's that? The Camino.
Yeah.
Camino the Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That area.
I've done that.
The retreat is, you've done that.
I've done that. Yeah. Not the full thing, because that takes about 30 days for you to complete. So I couldn't make the 30 days. Right. So
you've done the portion of that.
I've done a portion of it, and it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
you should do it.
Yeah, I've seen photos, and it's amazing. Okay, we had a question from our previous guest. This is a segment called "Question for the Next Guest." So basically, the previous guest created a question for you,
awesome,
and now you're gonna have a chance to create the question for the next CMO. Without knowing who they are, it just adds a surprise element for future episodes. So the question from Madison from our last episode. She is the CMO, CMO of a company called DDC Group, and she's based in the U.S. in Pennsylvania. And she asked you this question. How do you differentiate yourself from competitors and simplify it in a way so that their front line can repeat it? So not just the executives, not something that the executives can shout from the 1,000-foot level, but make it so simple that even guys that are down to the customer service level, customer success level can repeat.
It's one word. It's trustworthy. So because we are trustworthy as a company and as a provider, and the value we deliver is trustworthy data, right? So we synthesize it into that one word, which applies to us and applies to the value that we create for our customers as well.
Awesome. Great. And any question that you would like to ask to the next CMO?
The next CMO. So I would love to know how she or he works with the peers in the executive team to demonstrate the value of marketing.
Ooh. Yeah, because attribution is a huge black box.
Yeah, but that might be part
Right.
of the answer. Maybe, yes.
ROI, constant revision, reviews of where your money has been spent and the ROI on everything.
Yeah.
Which a lot of things is just not attribution is a huge.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about something else? Is there something else aside from attribution that you're struggling with?
I think there's. So you're talking about the what, right? So what do you use? What kind of metrics and conversations?
What? Yeah, exactly.
I'm also curious about the how, right? Because there is a little bit of an art in engaging with executive people and leaders in how you do that to bring people alongside your vision. So I'm very curious and interested to hear from the next guest the how. How do you do that? Because it's a little bit of an art. And back to your comment, it's about the human relationships and
Totally.
with people with sometimes different agendas, right? So how do you build that dealing with individuals that don't necessarily have the same agenda that you have?
I have an answer for you, but I'll leave that for our private conversation.
Awesome.
And we'll also talk about the different things like wine and potentially me coming to Spain in February. But Gustavo, it's been so much fun. I can speak for myself and for our team. It was fun getting to know you before we started, and even this entire episode has been super fun to watch, and for me to interview you. Before we end, is there anything that you'd want to plug in for Stibo or maybe for any kind of personal projects that you're working on? I have a chance for you to have some closing thoughts.
Yeah, no, I just back to what we talked about, the AI adoption. This for me has been a big hot topic, and I would love, as I will keep following your next guests, I'd love to hear how other fellow marketers are approaching this, because I'm sure the pain points are very similar. The challenges, the doubts, the questions, and sometimes the solutions can be very similar as well. So that is a topic that I feel will be hot for some time, and so I'll be very, very much looking forward to seeing how your next guests are going to be addressing that.
Yeah, no, I'm also excited from a personal standpoint. Which is the reason why we do all of this, so we can learn how top CMOs are using AI for marketing. Well, Gustavo, thank you so much for joining, and until next time.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you for watching.